So after 2 months of being very satisfied with the iPhone 17 Pro, I ultimately decided to switch back to my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Now, even though I'm obsessed with all the nice photos I'm getting out of this iPhone 17 Pro and all the other nice aspects about this phone, there are also just so many benefits of just having a foldable as my daily carry. These are obviously very different phones, with one being a foldable and one just being a regular slab phone, but I know some of you guys are in a similar boat. Get a new iPhone or try something totally different with an Android foldable. So with this video, I hope I can help with that decision. I'm going to go over all the reasons of why I ultimately switched back to the Fold 7, but I'll also share all the things I'll miss about the iPhone 17 Pro and what I'm going to do with it. Now, the number one reason why I switched back to the Fold 7 was definitely the big inner display inside. Folding screens are different from regular glass displays, so it's not going to be a pitch perfect experience. There is still a crease. The screen is a really thin piece of bendable glass that's really soft, so you also need this pre-installed screen protector on or it might break. And because of the material, it does get more reflections and it's not the brightest in sunlight. These things are not that noticeable once you actually start using it daily, but these are just facts. Now, this is still a big 8-inch AMOLED with this smooth refresh rate. It's so nice for watching YouTube videos, Netflix, reading ebooks and webtoons, and even TikToks while doing something else. Plus, if you have a kickstand case or a magnetic case with a stand, this is super convenient when using it on your desk or dinner table. And I can do all these things wherever I am since it folds up as a regular phone and I always have it with me. I can freely consume content on a big screen while commuting, waiting for something, in between meetings, etc. I know some people who did try a foldable end up not using the big screen inside much, so they switch back to a regular phone. But honestly, I'm the total opposite. I actually use this phone more as a mini tablet. I use the inner screen most of the time. I'm doing a ton of stuff on this screen and it's a phone secondary for me. So it's a big mini tablet that I can carry with me, turns into a phone, and I can make phone calls. Plus, the cover screen on the front here is wide enough now where it really just feels like a regular phone and the keyboard doesn't feel cramped at all. Sometimes I prefer to look at TikTok on here instead of the bigger screen because of the aspect ratio. It's just perfectly good enough for anything a regular slab phone can do, where I just feel like I'm getting more from this foldable form factor. And what makes this overall experience even better is how good One UI is as a foldable operating system. Android and One UI offer a ton of optimizations and features that make this big screen very much worth it. Not all, but still a lot of my essential apps support split menus where you can check your main content while scrolling through other content as well. Gmail is a really good example since I'm able to look at an email while looking through others in my inbox. It's actually super useful, especially when I'm thinking of a reply or just checking through a conversation history. With the Edge panel, you can have a bunch of app shortcuts, which you can really easily split screen or make into pop-up windows. I do this all the time while having YouTube on in the background. This is super convenient when I'm reading or watching something and I need to quickly reply to a message that I don't really want to open the app for, or even an email without interrupting whatever I was doing. Now, as you can tell from all my thoughts about the Fold 7's big inner display and all the things I could do with it, the iPhone 17 Pro's 6.3-inch display just felt so much more limiting. I felt a bit claustrophobic because I had to always do things one at a time besides those few apps that do support picture-in-picture. Every time I got a text or email, I had to switch out of whatever I was doing to go read and reply. You can get these things done by using quick replies from the notification, but it's just more reassuring to have the app open to see all the content before replying to most things. I also noticed that even though iOS is smoother with nicer animations, One UI really feels faster on a day-to-day basis. iOS does have more animations and it makes it look smoother, but less animations means less animations to wait for. Apps open quicker, transitions are faster. I also notice app background management is better on One UI. Apps don't close as quickly in the background, so you don't have to see apps refresh as often. Then all these multitasking features let me get more things done in a shorter amount of time, so it's just more efficient having the Fold 7 than the iPhone 17 Pro. Since I can do much more with this, I can basically carry around a little computer since I just bring around a Bluetooth keyboard like this, and this actually does come in handy for the more casual days. And with the Fold, you also have Samsung DeX where you can use this on a desktop-like environment, which I don't really use, but it's just nice that this is even an option. Now you might think, why do you need to do all that on a phone? Why can't you just use your phone as a phone and just bring a laptop or tablet or something? If you do have that logic and you think that way even after using a foldable, then this form factor just isn't for you. But once you start replying to a bunch of emails and Slacks on the train while catching up on your Netflix or YouTube videos, it is actually pretty hard to go back to a regular single screen. I also need to mention that this phone is basically just as slim and light as the iPhone 17 Pro. There's really not a huge difference in size or weight while being so much more capable. With all that said though, I'm gonna miss a ton of things about the iPhone 17 Pro. The rear cameras on this iPhone are so much better than what you could ever achieve on the Fold's cameras. Now the Fold's main camera is actually quite comparable to the iPhone's with good lighting. They both seem really nice, but looking closer at the smaller details, processing is slightly more natural on the iPhone with less over sharpening. You do seem to get more detail, more depth on the 17 Pro, and you generally get much more dependable images with this camera in tougher situations. The 4x periscope lens is also 1,000 times better than the 3x telephoto on the Fold. It's seriously not even a comparison. The iPhone's periscope is a larger sensor and is just a ton better than what the Fold can achieve. And since the iPhone 17 Pro is so efficient and fast at taking and processing raw images, I take all my photos in ProRAW, which retains a lot more detail, and edit them in Lightroom. And with this workflow, I've been taking some of my favorite photos of all time. I absolutely love how easy it is for me to get these types of shots. It's so much more accessible with the camera app being so simple. The RAW option is right there, and then you just open the Lightroom app. And most importantly, the social media apps are optimized for iPhone, and the compression is honestly not too terrible, where my photos still look nice on Instagram. That difference alone between these two phones makes me want to post everything from my iPhone instead of my Fold. The iPhone 17 Pro also has this new center stage selfie camera, which lets you take photos and videos in either orientation while keeping the phone in portrait orientation. So it's super flexible and great for vlogging. Samsung's Fold and Flip used to have a huge advantage since you can use the cover screen as a viewfinder and use the rear cameras as a really high quality selfie. Now those Samsung rear camera selfies are still higher quality, but the iPhone's new front camera is just so much more convenient to use that I honestly rather use the iPhone for vlogging. You don't have to flip it around or anything, you just open the camera app, switch orientation, and that's it. The general camera experience on the iPhone 17 Pro is actually so good that I'm going to be carrying this around like a separate point and shoot camera while I use the Fold 7 as my main phone. While I do ultimately prefer Android and One UI, I will miss the general fluidity and the smoothness of iOS. Especially with all the new liquid glass animations and effects, iOS just looks a lot more aesthetic than One UI. More than anything else, I'm going to miss the lock screen customizations and being able to save multiple lock screen layouts and wallpapers. The clock font and the transitions simply look more elegant on iOS versus the more systematic One UI look. I'll also miss the iPhone 17 Pro speakers, which are probably the best phone speakers I've ever heard. When it's open, the Fold 7 has all the speakers situated on the left side, so the audio sort of is shifted to the left. And since each half is so thin, there's not much space to work with, so the audio sounds tinny compared to the iPhone. And I also do prefer the general hardware design of the iPhone 17 Pro. I thought I didn't mind the rocking on the Fold 7, but even with the case, it does rock a lot when I set it down on the table. This isn't really a big deal, but slightly annoying. Since the iPhone has this big plateau on the back, it sits completely still on the table, which is a benefit I didn't really care about before, but I kind of do now. And even though Samsung haptics are decent, the haptic feedback on the iPhone 17 Pro is so much better. It just feels tighter while being more subtle, while still giving enough feedback to be noticeable. And also, simply due to the form factor difference and the popularity of the iPhone Pro models, finding cases and accessories for this phone is infinitely easier to find versus the Fold 7. Now thankfully this Banks case has been serving me really well in terms of maintaining the thinness while providing protection. Now if you are interested in this case, the affiliate link is down below, but honestly there's really not that many options, so I'm kind of just sticking to this for a long time. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm going to be missing so many parts about this iPhone 17 Pro, but for me, all the efficiency, entertainment, and productivity benefits of the Fold 7 still outweigh the benefits of the iPhone 17 Pro, so that's why I'm going with this as my main phone. So like I said, for the time being, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 will be my daily phone, but I also will be carrying the iPhone 17 Pro as sort of a point and shoot camera that I carry with me all the time. Alright, so that's going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comments what you would rather choose between these two phones. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys on the next one.